what is the history of JavaScript frameworks and what does the future hold? So, the history of JavaScript frameworks is long and sordid. No, okay, maybe sordid isn't the right word. There's been a ton of things in JavaScript, and some of them have been super wonderful, and some of them have been not so great. And I think the biggest thing that's changed in the evolution of JavaScript is the programmers, our attitude as programmers toward the JavaScript language. So JavaScript has a really interesting history. It was created in a ridiculously small amount of time by mainly one single person at Netscape, one of the earlier makers of internet browsers, one of the earliest makers of internet browsers. So, you know, given a longer time horizon, the language might have turned out differently. And, you know, that just is the way it is at this point. But for a long time, myself included, treated the JavaScript language as kind of a red-headed stepchild, if you will. We didn't really think it was a great language or important, or that you could really write serious code and applications in the JavaScript programming language. And for the longest time, the JavaScript that I used, I just sort of like copy and pasted and sprinkled in JavaScript to make the page a little bit more dynamic, and didn't really think about it any more than that. And it was really mid to late 2000s is what I remember, that the programming community as a whole started looking at JavaScript as a real programming language and really trying to understand what are the features of the JavaScript programming language that are there that we can leverage to really build good, maintainable code that we can be proud of and enjoy working with and maintain and build large systems out of. And that, more than any specific framework, I think is what changed the whole JavaScript space. So as far as specific frameworks, I mean, I look back to Prototype as one of the earlier ones I remembered, and I liked Prototype quite a bit. In the end, at the time, there's Prototype and jQuery, and jQuery kind of eventually won. I like jQuery. I'm definitely not going to knock jQuery, but it wasn't ambitious enough to build the kind of large-scale single-page apps that we're building today. And so Backbone was the first framework that I remember using to try to build larger apps. But even before Backbone, there were frameworks like Dojo and JavaScript MVC that people used to do that kind of thing. Fast forward, I would say at this point in time, there are really two main contenders for, and I think they're both really good frameworks for building large JavaScript single-page apps, AngularJS and Ember.js. I've used both of them quite a bit at this point, and what's really fascinating to me as I go back and forth between them is there's just a ton of convergence. They keep borrowing features from each other. Both are getting better. I could dig into either one and find some things that are better for specific use cases about either one, but there's really a lot more in common than there is different at this point in time. And that's just becoming even more the case as I look into the future. I'd say in terms of JavaScript frameworks, both Angular and Ember are really rallying around web components. As far as things that are going to happen and are starting to happen in the next months and years of JavaScript, web components seem to be the biggest thing that I'm seeing out there. Web components are, when I first started using HTML and JavaScript, they were a feature that I wanted even then, and that is, can I make my own custom HTML tags and specify their behavior myself? As a web developer, I was disappointed that I couldn't do that right from the beginning of HTML. And just now, the tools are coming along to let me be able to do that. And eventually, the browsers are going to include these tools as web components goes through the W3C standardization process. And both Angular and Ember are including support for web components. It's going to let me as a developer build applications in a new way. I'll have a way to encapsulate rich behavior in a component and use that component across applications. It's something I'm really excited about, and a lot of people are excited about, and it's the most consistent feature that I've seen multiple frameworks rally around in a long time.